So basically, I just wanted to summarise my image ideas. So I've already briefly described the makeup which I want to do, the accessories if I'm going to include that, the hair and how I want to position that, and what sort of poses which I want to do, which makes sense to me, sort of like planning. Anyway, I wanted to summarise what sort of images I'm going to have on my front cover, my contents page and my double page spreads. So logically, if we start with the front cover, if you can see here, I want to use sort of a mid-shot maximum, which I want to go down to is here. So literally just mid-shot. I don't really want to use a close-up because it may seem a little bit imposing on the audience, then they won't pick it up as easily. But if you use a mid-shot, it's normally a little bit more inviting. I've also been looking more at different magazines to refer to, such as Vogue and Elle, and they both do this as well. Neither one of them, for the examples which I've got, have gone over the top with a close-up or a really long shot. But I know that sometimes they throw it in just to be a little bit different, but I want to go for a mid-shot. Talking about how I'm going to draw in the audience, I want my direct address to come through the eye contact coming from my model. So I'm thinking that for my front cover, I'm going to take a few photos. Obviously, you're going to need a few photo shoots. But from those photo shoots, I'm going to choose my favourite ones. And from there, I'm going to figure out my favourite image. And then I'm going to think, right, that would be the best option to be my main article, what my magazine is about, or who my magazine is about. Sorry. When it comes to the pose, I want them to be quite relaxed. I don't want them to be tense or anything like that. Just relaxed and calm. They also need to be engaging, but they need to still be engaging and getting the audience's attention, which is always important. When it comes to what they're wearing, I want them to be quite casual, nothing over the top for say, but maybe one or two things. So if that's like over the top earrings, but then still like a casual top, feels like that's like a nice little mix. When it comes to their expression, I don't think I want them to be smiling. Maybe like a little smirk, but I do want it to be quite serious. For the colours on my front cover, I know that I want aspects of my colour scheme, that pinky purpley colour, to come through here and there, but I don't think I want them. I don't want, say, the background to be that colour. I'm thinking maybe if their clothes were similar colour, or I could change the shadows if I'm going to play with that, or the outfit, or just something like that. Because I feel as though if it's on the model, it's more like the magazine itself, rather than having it, say, on the title or somewhere else. So that's a quick little thing about my front cover. Moving on to the contents page, I'm a little bit more flexible when it comes to these images, so I don't mind if they're not just mid shots. Might be nice to have a variety of long shots or even a few close-ups if I want to advertise makeup or something, which could be a good idea. One thing which I don't think is a proper codes and conventions thing for magazines is I want to decrease the colour in all of the images except for the one on my main article. I don't mean that I want it to go like black and grey or anything like that, just decrease the saturation a little bit so then it's has a little bit of colour but not over the top. Just so then I can really drag the audience's attention into that one main article where I want them to go to. I think that I want to try and keep it quite minimalistic, so I don't want loads of the images to be overlapping, but that may change because I know that a lot of magazines do overlap the images, so I'm just going to have to play around with that idea. I feel as though if I am going to overlap them, I'll need to get photos of accessories. So if that's sunglasses, earrings, necklace, handbag, something, so then it would make sense actually if I took those photos of images of the accessories for what they're wearing on the model, I mean. So you can see a little bit better and everything like that. I'm playing with the idea of having a light version of my colour scheme for the background page, just because I've noticed a lot of the contents pages don't have any colour. I'm okay with that, but I think it needs a little something. So I'm thinking just maybe a tint or anything. So when it comes to portrait or landscape, I'm thinking that I mainly want to do portrait images unless something really different happens or I need to advertise something. And I want the audience to get the direct address through the eye contact, which I may or may not use in my front cover. I'm still deciding on that, depending on the image. So going back to the front cover quickly on this point, because I feel as though it's quite important. If my main image has got good direct eye contact, that's fine. But then if it doesn't, say they're looking down or to the side or something, I'm not going to fret over that because it's still good and it gets direct eye contact, direct address, I mean, from wherever the direction of they're looking. So maybe that could mean that I could put my cell lines where they're looking or something like that. We'll play around with that. So that's the end of my contents page. Moving on to my double page. So first, I've got this idea of contrasting like a black and a white page. So after the contents page, they'd open it up and see a black double page. And then they'd flip it over again and then see a white double page. I don't know, I just quite like that idea. Maybe I won't go for it and I'll just do a black, or I'm going more towards the black side than the white because I think it looks a little bit more professional. Which I have found actually in my art, that's what I'm getting that idea from. Unlike on the contents page and possibly the front cover, I don't want the models to make any eye contact. I do want them to be looking in different directions. If they're looking, say, over here, that's fine, but I don't want them to be looking straight into the camera. I'm thinking I want to stick with that minimalistic idea for the photos, but again, that may change depending on how I feel after my draft or anything like that. I'm not sure if I want to have any of those pages which have just got a few words on them. I might have one of those pages on my draft just so then I can play around with it, but then for my real thing, I may put more in, I may not even include it. I think that idea is good, and I have seen in Vogue and in Elle that they're at the beginning they do those double pages to use for advertising, so that's an idea to throw around as well. Finally, I'm not going to have any group photos. This is just because when it comes to editing and cutting them out, it's a nightmare because of the shadows and casting, and it just doesn't work. So I'm not going to have any group photos. If I do, I'll have to edit them together, I'll deal with that, but I'm not dealing with the shadows or anything on that. So yeah, that is a quick little summary on my image ideas.